It is 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, so I apologize that I'm late. That's not a real good excuse, but we were out a little bit late last night, at least for Maui late. So I apologize.
Quite all right. It's noon on the East Coast, so you're all good.
Um, how are you? How's your morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm the luckiest guy on earth.
Yeah. Why?
Why?
Hmm.
Um, I have a wonderful fiance. I have my health. I have great friends. I have money in the bank, and I live in Maui.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, and I live in
That's
America.
awesome. Awesome.
Um, how did we connect? How do I know you?
You know what? InvestorCon in, I think it was June 2022. Were you taking pictures there?
I
For,
was. I was looking for my camera. I was. Yeah, Invest Hercon. Yeah, that's
yeah, that
I saw. I always mispronounce her name. Um,
Andrea.
Andrea. I always want
Yeah,
to say like
Andrea,
Alessandra.
Andrea Jude. Yeah, and I can never pronounce her last name either. Andressa. It's Andressa.
Andressa.
It's
Yeah,
Andressa
Andressa
and
and Liz.
Liz.
Yeah, good friends of mine. As much
Mhm.
as I can't pronounce her name, I promise we're friends.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, for something like, that's so funny. In my brain, her name is forever stuck as Alessandra or something. And
Uh-huh.
then I'm always like, no, it's not that. And then I get crunched. So we met, what? That's 2 years ago.
Hmm. Correct.
Yeah, wow. How
It
did
was my
we,
first real estate conference.
and then how did you find me for today? Like, how did that?
So I am part of Emerge Mastermind, which is like it's a smaller mastermind version from GoBundance. And my friend Oliver Perry posted it in our chat, and he's like, "Hey, if you want an awesome conversation, click here, sign up." I was glad I did, and
Dude,
so, so when
Oliver, bro.
so when I saw your name, I was like, "Holy crap! I know who that is." And I had to think a little bit, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I met him 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago."
Yeah, I might be the most popular guy in real estate just because I go to so many events and and I do this. I've been doing this for years and I'm in all these little groups. So, yeah, it's so funny.
It's
Oliver
great.
and I talked like I just met him. He's in another group of mine. I think he's a war room guy. He's a veteran, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he
a
has a
so we're in
podcast
a
called From the Foxhole.
yeah. Um yeah, so he's in the war room. I put my link out there. I've been doing this for years, but I just like really started leaning into it in a way that I should have been for 5 years. And you're like the third person that I've talked to this week that's like, yeah, I'm from Emerge. I'm like, I love it because it gets me. I don't know. I get to talk to people that are outside of like that immediate circle.
Okay, it's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So
do
yeah,
you have a
how are you?
set
Tell me
of
about life. How can
questions?
I help? What are you working? What are you working on?
Well, I have gone through, I don't know if you remember me or not, but when I showed up at that conference 2 years ago, I had no idea who I was. I just showed up. I'm like, should I do real estate? Should I not do? I don't know. I just moved down to South Carolina. I wanted to go back to Pennsylvania, back and forth, back and forth. And since then, life has taken a very interesting series of events for me. And here I am today. I have a podcast called Small Steps, Big Wins podcast that I started a little over a year ago. Met some amazing people. From that, I am a coach. I'm also a soon to be author. My book just went to the editor. Well, I'm in the process of choosing an editor at this point. I've got three more books in my brain. So I'll get those out at some point this year. I'm a teacher, part-time financial advisor, orchestrator, people connector, but most importantly, I love helping people through encouraging them and through positive encouragement and practical application. So that's where I'm at.
Dude, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Wow, I feel like I haven't done anything in 2 years now.
I don't feel like I have either,
Yeah.
but I have.
That's always how it happens.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
dude, congrats. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very impressive.
What have you been up
Well,
to for 2 years?
that's not fair. It's not fair to,
Well, see,
not so much.
the problem is you have a podcaster. So when you have another podcaster and somebody who's curious, it's like it's really hard to be the guest. So you just always flip it and you just start asking questions. That's
Yeah,
what I do.
I don't actually think of this as a podcast at all.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a terrible podcast. It's no, it's mostly for it's mostly a private, like I publicize these, but like I only just started publicizing them, but like it's not a show of any like I don't have any format, you know? I'm just literally just
Mhm.
genuinely want to meet people. So,
Cool.
um
I love it. Ask me anything then.
yeah, and I honestly I don't want to be an interviewer. So,
Okay.
the conversations always go back and forth. Some people ask questions, some people I ask questions. It's just yeah.
Gotcha.
Um so the camera, yeah, so I was doing real estate, multifamily real estate full time, and I was raising money and finding deals, and man, it just went to zero. You know, a lot of people in
Hmm.
21 they said like, "Hey, our pencils are down." You know, rate rates were low, but cap rates, profit margins were super low, 4 or 5% on these old properties, and I was like, dude, nobody wants to make 5% on a pain in the ass C class property.
Right.
And then all the rents went up. So I was like, now there's no margin and no future margin. Like we are maxed. You're making small money on a property that has no upside in the future or today. It was just all squeezed out. And
Hmm.
so I was like, well, I kind of did well enough in real estate that I thought "Oh, I can do the cardinal sin of real estate. I can wait. I can wait. I said, I'm just going to wait. I don't know. This is crazy. It's not going to last. And it was more like strategic stalling, let's say.
Hmm.
Now, I've been a camera guy for a lot of years. I love my camera. I love it in a lot of ways, but I only love it in the ways in my little way. I don't like if you ask me to do things I don't do, then it's miserable. So I thought I don't know if that makes sense or not. Like I'm an
Hmm.
artist in
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
very
It does.
specific type of art. Yeah.
No, I get it. No, I get it.
Um so I said let me just it was like middle of 21. I was like let me just see if I could travel the world with and get paid for it with my camera. So between that time and 20 and the end of 22, I basically did like 7 countries, and probably 15 events and conferences. I think that's where we met,
Yeah, that's where we
InvestorCon
met.
in middle
Yeah.
of 22.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I took that year and a half, and I just traveled the world with my camera, and actually made more than I would have if I had bought a bunch of 4% properties in North
Yeah.
Carolina.
Right.
Um, and then at the end of 2022, Brandon Turner reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I want to start a new podcast. I want it to be on video. I want it to be high quality. I want it to look cinematic.
Oh,
And like, you're the guy."
wow.
And so
Awesome.
he's like, "But you got to move to Maui."
Uh,
So I
yeah.
was like,
Uh,
"Okay, I
sure.
suppose." I didn't really know Brandon, but it was definitely like
Uh,
it was like a flyaway opportunity,
yeah.
but it was such a unique
Congrats.
opportunity.
Yeah. And I've seen his podcast too. I've seen the setup and everything. It looks
Yeah,
phenomenal. That's all
yeah,
you.
it's all me.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. You love it?
Thank you. I liked the part that I had to do. So actually, I'm gonna exit at the end of the month. I'm gonna leave Maui
Mm.
and go on to my next opportunity.
Okay.
Um, it's been a really good learning experience about what a human being is supposed to do, and I like starting things, setting things up, turning it over to somebody, and then like managing it.
Hmm.
Anybody
Yeah.
else?
Yeah. That sounds
I'm
like
not
me.
a. I'm not like I get bored, so it's like I'm an addict.
Hmm.
Honestly, I'm an addict.
I'm learning
I
that's
used
what
to
I
be
am.
I used to be an actual addict.
Mm.
I gave up. I gave up the. I gave up drugs and alcohol, mostly alcohol. I gave up drugs. But now I'm addicted to like shiny, new, difficult challenges. So again, for me to come out here, there was no media system. I'm like, I built it. I created something interesting,
Hmm.
and then I hired some kids, some people to take it over. And now I'm like, okay, like have it.
Yeah.
It's yours. I
Yeah.
created it. Now I'm gonna go off and start the new next thing.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
It sounds like that's what's happening with me. because I've been going on this transformational journey. I hired a life coach last year for the first time ever. I paid the money. I lived in scarcity mindset for a long, long, long time. And I was in emerge, and all these people are like changing. And I had a couple of traumatic life events happen in a short amount of time. And I'm like, I think I need a coach. I think I need somebody. It's like, you know how that feeling you have where you're stuck and like you have to take the next step and you're just not sure what it is. And for me, that's where I was at. So, I went looking for a coach for months, and I interview a lot of coaches on my podcast. We have a lot of, I got a lot of coaches now. I'm kind of turning into the coach author kind of podcast person. They're seeming to find me, which is fun. I mean, I love it. And went looking for a coach, and finally what happened was I ran into a guy by the name of Austin Lenny, and Austin was,
I know Austin.
yeah. Do you know Austin?
I cannot tell you how popular I am. It's so funny. Yeah, me and Austin are buddies.
No.
Yeah.
No way. No
Yeah.
way. I'm
I
going to
know
text
everybody,
him.
I'm telling you.
I'm going to
Yeah,
text
text
him
him
as
right
soon
now.
as I'm done. No. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Well, tell him you're talking to Sue Saller. He will tell you.
Uh-huh. I love this. Uh-huh.
He will tell you he may or may not tell you. I am his most difficult client. His most challenging client, I should say. But I like the word difficult too. But he is the one. I'm actually, my book that I'm writing. He is weaved in and out of my entire book, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be alive.
Wow.
And I say that not flippantly. I say that like, if he didn't instill the hope in me that I had lost in myself, I wouldn't be here. It was really him that kept me going.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
I'm very much indebted to him. I have my reservoir of appreciation runs very deep for Austin.
wow. That's great. That's good. That is a good compliment to a person. Yeah, I've never met Austin face to face. I only know him
How do you know him?
through the internet, but we've been friends for a few years. Yeah.
Yeah, like social kind of, or have you done deals with him?
Somebody introduced me to him, and then we just hit it off. I was on his show, I think,
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
yeah, Julie Holly
Yeah,
introduced
okay.
us. Yeah. Another great. She's an impressive woman. I think I don't know her that well. But
I heard her on his podcast. Yeah, she was
yeah,
really cool. I keep forgetting he and I swap guests, so I
uh-huh.
keep forgetting he has these like really awesome guests. And so when I finally run out of like a guest pool, I'll circle back around and start picking them off out of his repertoire again. He connected
Yeah,
me to Brian Johnson. Do you know who Brian Johnson is?
the age
Yeah.
guy, anti-aging guy.
No, well, no,
Oh,
he's a philosopher guy. He wrote the book called Arte. It's a popular name. There's a lot of Brian Johnsons. Well, he's out of
oh,
Austin, Texas, and he developed an app called Heroic app, and he just wrote a book called Arte. He has a coaching program too, which I'm part of. But my podcast with him comes out tomorrow. He has a large following, a couple million, I don't know, million people. I don't know, more people than I have. Let's put it that way. I don't know. I think everybody has more people than I have. I just love podcasting. I just show up. But
I'm looking
yeah,
this guy up. I wonder if we're talking about the same person.
tall, bald guy with glasses.
Oh no.
No, tall, bald. Type in heroic Brian Johnson, and then Arete would be Arete. He would probably come up like philosopher, half social.
Got him.
Like he's read a ton of books.
Got him. Yeah.
Nicest
I'm a
guy
bit of
ever.
I'm a bit of a philosopher. I read a lot of philosophy.
Well, he read like he's up around 650 books and annotated all of them. and did
Wow.
philosopher's notes on all of them. Yeah, it's
Wow.
amazing. Absolutely. He's amazing. He's got a great app that you can access all of that information free for 30 days and then you have to pay. But one of those.
Yeah.
but, but
I love
yeah, yeah.
capitalism.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. I like capitalism. It's not, I don't have a problem with it. I keep wondering why my earbuds are not behaving here. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Oh my gosh, small world. I wonder who else we both know. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, yeah, the GoBundance world is definitely I'm not in GoBundance, not the I'm in none of the cohorts for GoBundance, but
Right.
I got my eye I got my eye on it because I just feel like yeah, as a sort of as a connector, and
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a natural community builder. That's where I think my next few years is going to be focused on.
Hmm.
Um, I don't have that much of a track record. Well, I have a weird track record with community building, but it definitely feels like something there. So, uh, interesting you said about scarcity mindset. I'm kind of in the same boat, you know. Well, I won't go down the whole rabbit hole, but there's two things that I want to pay more for going forward, which is one is employees. So I started
Mm.
hiring my first VAs, and I look at them like, man, I really can't afford this, or how do I say that? I can't afford it. It's more like it's painful, and I don't know if I'm doing it right, and
Mm.
yada yada yada. But I'm also like, I can't grow unless I get an army of these people. So
Right.
I have to figure this out. This isn't like oh, it's not working. It's like, no, it has to work. So like that mindset switched in my head
Hmm.
where I'm like, no, I have to pay the money out. So now I'm like, okay, now how do I afford it?
Hmm.
Not can I afford it? So that like thing that I knew for a long time has I finally feel it. And then the other one is like paying for paying for groups. I've been okay to pay for groups, but the interesting thing is I've actually been invited to a lot of these private groups for free because one, I usually bring people. Two, I usually bring a lot of value. So like, I'm in Better Life and I do a lot of interactive virtual events with people,
Hmm.
like because I want to. So I end up bringing like an employee's level of value. And then three, I have that camera. That camera is my threat multiplier. I'm like, oh, you have an event? I will make it look the coolest it could possibly look. So,
Yeah.
but now I'm at the point where I think about it. I go, yeah, well, how many more people can I talk to? I'm eventually going to start my own group. I'm working through that. Something
Yeah.
very niche, and sort of exclusive. And I want to find the best people. And then also, I just invested in a deal in Maryland where they want to we still want to raise some more money, and that's a really different interesting piece of real estate because you can go there. So there's
Hmm.
just all these things where I'm like, the answer to everything in my
It's
life is
always my.
more people.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I hear you on the mastermind group. It's very challenging to, at least I think it's challenging because you can spend an unlimited amount of money being around all these groups. And it's kind of like, okay, if I pay $10,000 a year, what's my return? And you have to ask yourself that a little bit. It's like you don't want to throw money away either, and connections and things like that. With GoBundance, I go back and forth. It's been great for me. I've met a lot of amazing guys, a lot of amazing people. But I've had a few who are who have been around and up top. I won't drop the names, but I know them. And they're like, yeah, you have to be really careful because some of the guys in the GoBundance world, they're, they will be kind and then they will steal your idea, and it's cutthroat at certain levels. It was a
mhm.
very interesting conversation I had, and it was with somebody who was building something, and within the organ, like he was building a company and somebody else was building a company, and they were stealing each other's ideas, and it was a race to the top to see who was best. And yeah, I guess that happens everywhere, right? But you would it's hard to find that type of person, whatever. But other than that, I mean, I've had nothing but positive a positive experience at the emerge level. Eventually I'll join GoBundance Women, and I've hung out with them for quite a bit. I've been able to I go to events. I don't qualify to go, but I get an email that says, "Hey, Sue, you want to show up? We're having this event." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll show up."
That's
I don't
great.
have a million net worth yet, but I'll definitely go because you're inviting me. you know, Different at the girl level. we're,
Yeah.
we're
I just had a long conversation with Mandy, the CEO
Oh,
of
I love
GoBundance Women.
Mandy. I hung out
Yeah.
with her last year, and we were in Nashville, Tennessee. She had a GoBundance Women's Conference, and let me see, she was on my podcast. Hung out with her, and I just was away a couple weeks ago with Kathy Christensen. Kathy Christensen. She's the one of three amigos for the GoBundance Women. So Mandy is CEO, but then Kathy Christensen, I think it's Christian. Kathy Christian, I think it's Kathy Christian, and Kelly Resendez, the three of them.
Huh.
So I hung out with
Uh,
Kathy for a weekend.
yeah.
It was awesome.
I don't know if I know her, probably know, I may know her by face. Obviously, I don't know that world that well,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
It's a girl side.
but yeah, it's a great site. But
but
yeah, I hear you about like being able to pay to infinitum. Like at the
yeah.
same time, I'm like, there's definitely the balance because if I could pay if I could pay for all of them, then it's not a matter of the pay. It's the matter of like which groups do you really choose deliberately because you can't spend all of your time. I often call myself the most extroverted person on planet Earth. I could probably spend 8 to 10 hours a day doing 30-minute calls like this with people.
hmm I love this
I need
stuff too.
I need the little breaks, but like I could spend all day just talking and meeting people every day.
hmm
I'd be in heaven. Um, my calendar's not that full, which is probably a blessing. But
I could talk for another hour. I mean, go on
yeah,
for days.
yeah. No, this is great. Actually, I think I'm going to bump into another meeting, unfortunately. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay. All right. Well, I'll cut it
um,
then. Unless
yeah,
you want me
but
to come
well, that's
back on
why.
and
Well,
sign up again.
you more than welcome. Yeah. What's interesting is like I used to do these for an hour, and I found an hour's. I would much rather be like, dude, we had a great conversation. We have to cut off, rather than like, okay, well, now we're 20 minutes in, and and this is
Yeah.
we're we're not vibing for whatever for no negative reason. And then I'm like, now I either have to cut this short on somebody and they feel awkward, or like 40 minutes of just like trying to yank a conversation out of somebody.
hmm
So I did this for years at an hour, and I was like, no, we gotta go to 30 minutes. Um,
All
for
right.
better or for
Well,
worse.
yeah, right. Well, it was good connecting with you. I'm so glad. But
Yeah,
I'll have,
how can I be useful to you? I was late, so I can go over a minute. But
um,
how can I what do you need? What are you running into? What problems you running into?
what problems am I running into? Oh my gosh. Uh,
You
gosh.
need
I
more
gotta change.
clients? Is that what you need?
Hmm? What's that? More
You need
clients?
more clients? Is that what you need?
No, gotta change my fucking job. Sorry, I gotta change my job.
Quit.
I'm
Where
a.
do you work? Oh,
It's been challenging. I am a licensed financial advisor. I formally quit my job July 5th last year, and then all hell broke out in my life. And my husband and I are separating, actually, but we still live together and we're separating. So it's kind of like a messy year a little bit. I
yeah.
quit my job before all the hell broke loose on my marriage. Went back to my boss and said, "Hey, can I? It's a cushy job. It's a cushy W two. No, it's not a high paying job, but it's a W-2 that I get away with a lot more than what I should.
It's like low. It's like why would I
It's
quit? It's too easy.
but it's not challenging for me. So
Yeah.
I need challenge. I need challenge. I really need challenge. That's why my Austin said to me the other day when we were coaching. He's like, "Sue, go write 3 more books." He's like, "I know what your problem is. You're just not challenged." You're right. I go, and then now he cut my hours down to 20. I'm trying to find another job, but I'm only qualified to do financial advising at the moment. That's what my resume says, but I'm so much more off the resume. It's just that so that's where I'm at. It's kind of like I just increase my income. Yeah, what do I
When was
need?
the
I
last
need it.
time? I'm gonna ask you a wild off the wall question. When
Sure.
was the last time you went out of country?
um I don't think I've ever been out of country. S-
Sue, I know what I need to help
1984.
you with.
I've never been out of the country. Yeah, my ex-husband, who I was married to for over 30 some years, would not get in a plane and fly. And right
Well,
now, but
the
yes,
reason
I
I
have a
said that is
pap.
when
Yes, I have a passport. Yes, it's
the reason I
valid.
said that is like a
Mm.
year and a half ago, I set up a meeting. I set up a retreat for a bunch of people, and I said the last thing that people need is another retreat in a classroom where they teach something, but they happen to be somewhere cool. I'm like, what I think people want or need, because I know there's a deep need for community. I believe you would agree. That's why you-
Yeah,
in these
agreed.
groups. Um, so what I did is I gathered a bunch of people and I said, we're going to go down to Guatemala. We're going to hike a volcano, and it's going to be a miserable hike. It is a legitimately difficult. And then we slept on the top. It was 25 degrees. We slept overnight, and it was just misery from top to bottom. It was the hardest hike I've ever done, and it was an incredible bonding experience and a humbling experience because
I was
it
gonna
got us
say.
out of the whole like, oh, life's kind of too easy. You know, I got this cushy job. It's like, no, everything about this was hard and sucked. And there was some level of joy in that. Now I'm specifically well geared for like everything I want. Everything I do, my fiance hates it. She's like, "Oh, it's miserable and hard. You must be happy." You know, she's like, every time I complain, she's like, "That's your happy place." You know, you hate doing this. That's great for you. But anyways, I don't know if that. I just want to plant that seed. Like when you say like
Thank you.
over and over, you're like, "I need a challenge. I need a challenge." I'm like, there's not many harder things to do than get a passport, get a plan, take time off, go to another foreign country. You don't speak the language, try to figure out how to eat for 3 days, and go do a hike or an adventure. And that is a challenge that's not expensive. You can find somebody to do it with. You don't have to do it alone. But it is a challenge that it sounds like if you've never been out of the country, it's a challenge that would be new to you. And so it's here. It's a spiritual
Hmm.
and like mental challenge. So I don't know if that's useful to you, but like that's what spoke to me when you said that is
Thank
go
you.
to Guatemala, go do Machu Picchu, you know? Like it's not hard, but it is hard up here and hard here.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I don't know if that's useful,
I
but
agree.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's out there now.
Just plant a seed. Just let that thing fester.
Yes. Okay.
Ask
All
Austin what
right.
he thinks about that.
Well, I had actually, we have a mutual friend in Spain, and that friend said, "Hey, come to Barcelona." So that would be an adventure for me.
I just
But
did
I'm in
the
scarce.
I just did the Camino de Santiago. That was we walked from Porto, Portugal, the western side of Portugal, to the middle of Spain, 170 miles in 14 days. I just did
Wow.
that last year.
Oh, cool. Cool. My challenge is just my scarcity mindset challenge. That's right now I'm at a, yeah.
Cost you the thing about travel is it doesn't cost much and it doesn't take long. I'm like, dude, you could do 4 or 5 days out of country, go to South America. It costs you less than 2 grand. Like,
Mm,
it's not a lot of money. It's just
okay.
it's here.
Yeah, you're right.
That's why I like international travel. I'm like, dude, it's not expensive and it's not hard. It just seems hard and expensive, and then when you start, you just gotta. It's just one of those things that's very easy not to do. Anyway,
Okay.
I don't know if that's right for you. I just throwing it out there.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, would you like, I'm more than happy to jump back on another call and continue the conversation. It's up to you. I
Yeah, schedule
don't want
another
to take
one.
your time. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
We'll
I got
do.
another call guy waiting in.
All right. All right. Hey, good talking to you,
Uh,
Alex.
Great talking to you. Hey, leave the I'm gonna stop the recording, but this has got to it's got to upload, so I'm gonna stop it, and then you just
Okay.
gotta leave the browser open for a minute.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah, I know. I use StreamYard. I got it.
Okay.
I will not close the browser. All right.